These agreements create a new modern border for a new century.
That's so pretty. Well, up here in this country, on December 7th, Stephen Harper and Barack Obama signed the Perimeter Security and Economic Competitiveness Action Plan, a deal between Canada and the U.S., Harper says, will, quote, create a new modern order for a new century, adding, quote, together they represent the most significant steps forward in Canada-U.S. cooperation since the North America Free Trade Agreement. Stephen Harper may think NAFTA a step forward for Canada, but for millions on both sides of the 49th who stood helplessly by as good jobs left the country flying to foreign parts due to these corporate agreements, the prospect of further forward motion into Harper's vision of a new modern order is less welcome. The deal is what Canadian nationalists like David Orchard describe as the greatest existential threat to Canada. It is an act of finishing through treachery what force of arms could not accomplish, conquest by deception. Of the deal, the Council of Canadians' Maud Barlow says, quote, the Harper government has again succumbed to U.S. pressure to beef up security and surveillance powers for little or no real security gains to either country. As we suspected, perimeter security just means that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security will set most of the terms for greater information sharing, the use of no-fly lists, and joint policing of the border and beyond. Harper has also bent to the desires of North American business lobbies to remove regulatory burdens most of us understand as health and safety standards, end quote. Well, and this is the rub. Using fear and insecurity, the traditional tools of blackguards and bullies, the disingenuous PM and his imperial master plan to use this false promise to allow the corporate hordes, first and foremost in the form of agribusiness giants, to prise open the nation's farms and fields to genetically engineered monstrosities, aptly foods, while exposing our grocery store shelves to dairy products bastardized by growth hormones known to cause disease and hasten death. These noxious foods this egregious agreement allows will be hidden from view by labeling obfuscation and point of origin obliteration. Of this regulatory convergence, the Council asks, quote, does it make sense, rather, to adopt U.S.-style industry self-inspection of food processing plants? Do we automatically want to recognize in Canada the safety of new genetically modified crops, or, in the case of salmon, GE animals? Do we want to stop testing pesticides approved for use in the U.S. just to get them to Canadian shelves quicker? The Harper government... end quote. The Harper government, as it prefers to be called, offers little, saying it will, quote, continue to consult relevant stakeholders and Canadians on these issues, end quote. Well, relevance is the point here. As the Council of Canadians points out, Harper's pronouncements were directed at a very select group of relevants who apparently enjoy special access. According to the COC, only business stakeholders were invited into the government lockup to brief media on the virtues of the plan, and only business stakeholders will have privileged access to ongoing Regulatory Cooperation Council working group sessions on Canada-US standards convergence. Now, that Regulatory Cooperation Council mentioned is to be the supra-parliamentary actor now responsible for maintaining these unifying policies going forward, as they say. Now, that's what I call harmonious. Now, a little bit more from Frida.
These agreements create a new modern border for a new century.